Newsfirst Newsline with Faraz Shaukat Ali.
A very good morning to you. This is Newsline and very warm welcome. And this morning, in the aftermath of the tragedy in Kolanava, we have with us the news editor of the Island newspaper, Shamindra Ferdinando, who wrote a lead story yesterday about the same subject. Very good morning to you, Mr. Ferdinando, and welcome to Newsline.
Good morning, Faraz.
Shamindra, what happened at Meetotamulla? Why is it that the Sri Lankan government and authorities only seem able to act when some tragic mishap happens? What happened?
For us, actually, the people of Meetotamulla launched protests against this dump way back in January 2012. That was during the previous administration.
Right.
And I spoke to them, and according to them, there had been 15 such demonstrations and protests
Since
January 2012.
Right.
And they allege, in fact, they told the IGP Pujita Jayasundara when he visited the scene, he reminded the IGP, the police officers who had been sent to help them today were earlier used to suppress their demonstrations.
Right.
So there's no point in blaming this government for this situation. I believe both governments, the previous and the present, are equally responsible for this tragic situation.
And that you yesterday, your lead story yesterday, captured the very spirit of what you're saying, because when we went there, we found that these people were not blaming any particular political party. They were blaming all, both sides.
Actually, for us, the system, you know, today the present government, they have ordered that each person, dead person, paid 100,000 compensation and 2.5 million to a damaged house.
Up to 2.5 million.
So
I think somebody ought to point out to these victims that this is not 2.5 million, it is up to.
But the issue is, just compare the compensation paid to these people and other facilities given to honorable MPs of Parliament. Now see, just compare the tax exemption given to an MP. Each MP received over 30 million, whereas a victim,
so the loss of life is being estimated 100,000 rupees.
So you see, number of tragedies happen. Yes, you just compare. Each MP is paid 100,000 rupees
every month.
In addition to their salaries.
Yes, and there are the benefits,
yes,
like the transport allowance, the petrol allowance, yes, the telephone allowance, the security allowance, the secretarial allowance, yeah, so the office allowance, and yeah, all these allowances.
Yes, just compare a range of facilities, perks, and privileges given to honourable members of Parliament and the poor people of Meetotamulla. Now, if you go through the media, the recent reports over the past 48 hours, now they have decided to shift the people from that place.
Yeah.
You see, they waited more than 10-15 years.
Just to do that?
Yes. You know, actually, the system, I am not blaming a particular political party, but the system, they are using this tragedy to get the people out of that place, right? That's the bottom line.
But these people, when I was there, I went to speak to a couple of people. They said this is a joke. They said, now they're telling us that, oh, we told you to move. He said, but excuse me, the garbage came after us.
Yes,
some of these people have got title deeds.
Yes.
And it was the successive governments that continued to dump garbage behind them.
Yes.
Until it ended up in this huge mound.
Varas, you must realize it's a huge operation. Now, when Mr. Kalu Jayasuriya was the mayor of Colombo, they privatized collection of garbage in the city of Colombo.
Right.
That was during Mr. Jayasuriya's time.
Yeah.
So since then they have involved two private parties, firms, in addition to the CMC, to collect garbage and remove garbage to this place, to Mitotambulla. So it's a huge operation. When I spoke to some CMC officials, they said that it's cheaper for them to hire the private sector to do it.
Right.
But the issue is, over a period of time, the previous government and this government and the UMP, which very proudly claims that the CMC had been always under its control, did nothing to address this issue. And yesterday I watched, yesterday or day before yesterday, Western Provincial Council member Susil Kidelpitia on Sirasa. He made a series of allegations about people taking bribes and several allegations against very senior people.
I was told that when I was there.
Yes.
So one chap said, oh, 600 million contract became 800 million.
Yes. So 200. I think the government should investigate this. The government should investigate. But unfortunately, you will realize for us, if there is some other incident like this or some other issue, the media and the government, the joint opposition and all these people will quickly move to some other issue, and the people of Mitotambulla will be forgotten.
But, you know, Shamindra, we have, there's a cabinet paper from 2014 in which there was a plan to take the garbage from the Colombo area to a place off Putlam, where there was enough of, it lent itself to this operation. And 2015 was when the cabinet had approved the whole project and so on, and implementation was due to take place in 2015. Of course, we all know the government changed, and the incoming government have done nothing about that project, even though the cabinet had passed it and put it all into place. And we've got the images of the cabinet paper, which is published on the website. So it's there for everyone to see. So how come there's this lethargy, or did they just not look at that file because they think, oh well, you know, that's them, we're going to do it our way?
No, I think I saw the former president had issued a statement.
That's right.
But for us, at the end of the day, you must admit that the previous government did not do it. Now, there's no point in blaming this government for its failure, no? Because the SLP-led People's Alliance and the SLP-led UPFA, that coalition, that they had been in power since August 1994. Since August 1994, they did nothing to address this issue. They did nothing to address this issue.
But this area in particular, Shamindra,
so it's a political issue. You know, for us, if you go back and check the media coverage of the Colombo election campaign in the run-up to the presidential election in January 2015 and parliamentary polls in August 2015, you will realize the garbage issue, it was a huge issue, a crisis exploited by several UNP MPs in Colombo to inspire the people against the previous administration.
Indeed.
Right? So they promised to tackle the problem within days or months or weeks. But nothing happened, because I think somebody should investigate, inquire into this Kidelpitia's allegations, very serious allegations. I think he's as a member of the council, provincial council, he had made allegations against several people, including the chief minister. Right? So it's up to the president and the government, the Yahapalana government, to inquire into it.
Yes. What was the role of the judiciary in this? Did they make any orders as to where this should be located or should not be located?
I think for us, you know, that there had been a garbage dump at
Blumendal.
So there was a court order, and subsequent to that, they shifted it to, they started dumping garbage at this place.
That was under the stewardship of His Lordship Sarat and Silva.
I'm not sure for us, I'm not sure. But I think that happened during Mrs. Kumaratunga's time, I think.
Right.
I think. But the issue is, for us now, even today, the politicians, the members of Parliament and the ministers especially, they are talking about shifting garbage from one place to another, but that is not the answer. You know, you have to bring in foreign investors and try to use this garbage to produce power or fertilizer to do something. You know, at one point, I think a couple of months back, they tried to shift it to A color, then the Catholic Church opposed it, they cancelled it, then they thanked the President for that, then they are now they're talking about shifting garbage from Colombo to Puntland. And I'm sure as soon as they started, the Muslim politicians representing Puntland, representing this government, they will protest. They will not allow that to happen.
They can't possibly keep it in that area.
But
the people there have lived with the stench for so long.
For us, don't forget, this government will use this tragedy to shift these people out of that place. I am telling you, if that they are going to say...
So if you were a wagering man, you would put your money down?
Certainly, because you see the government statements coming, they say it's not safe to be there. I saw Honorable Yapa, he said that a particular section is, you know, that there's a huge...
So what they are proposing to do is to break up the life, the sort of villagey type of bonding lifestyle of these people who've lived there for so long. And so they find it expedient, or more expedient, to relocate them. Obviously will be not around the corner, right? And rather than solve the real issue, which is to get rid of that dump.
Yeah, because I don't think for us, these people have a plan to address the issue, right? They, you know, that they're issuing statements and making a huge, you know, that they are showing that they are sort of indicating that they are doing something about it. But what will happen is they'll try to get the people out of that area.
But Shamindra, 30 people are still missing. 30 people are confirmed as dead. Does the government think that by paying 3 million rupees, that's how much it is, 100,000, right?
Yes.
3 million rupees, that this problem will go away? Isn't it better for them to clear that area, clear the dump, right, and finally bring some normality to these people who live in the surrounding areas there? Because for years and years people haven't been able to have a proper meal because they live with this stench, and God knows what it's been doing to their lungs, and from a medical point of view we don't know that. I don't think anybody's ever gone into that depth. For us, you must realize one thing: they will not remove this garbage dump. That's for sure. But
right?
Shamindra, you know, I was just going back a little bit. Now we have this order from the court to move don't dump it in Blumendal, go and put it over there. These series of misjudgments, if you like, it's like, I know this is contentious, but if we must look at the beginning of things. We had the Helping Hambantota scam, or the saga of Helping Hambantota. Yes. We had the same judge who allowed that president, aspiring nominee,
yes,
he cleared the decks basically to allow MR to be able to take on that mantle.
And the policemen who investigated him were punished.
That's right. And you see, it's a bit like, so all these various judgments and decisions have had far-reaching consequences. You know, here was somebody there was, according to Lasantha Wickramatunge's articles, there was incontrovertible evidence linking this politician to the Helping Hambantota scheme or saga, right? Then we had the same person who allowed opposing politicians to cross over. These decisions have had far-reaching and significant impact on the people of this country, on the very history of this nation. And these are all because of some lopsided decisions which clearly had, at that time that the decisions were made, had various collateral purposes.
Sure.
It's like the hedging.
Yes.
We all know that when it went terribly wrong, that this government the government then did not want to pay those banks. And so there was a very convenient judgment in their favor, only for that judgment to be withdrawn and cancelled, ordered out by the same Chief Justice who decided that if the government was not going to reduce the price of petrol, according to the formula given by him, he's going to cancel all the orders out. What a colossal waste of money. And of course, you know, the complete disregard for the fact that the Supreme Court is not Parliament.
Okay.
So all these series of bad or poor judgments and orders has resulted in long-lasting effect on the people of this country.
Sure.
It's the same people. The Akarai Pattu 500 homes project, Tsunami project, $15 million, outright gift, no loan, no insurance, no repayments, no nothing. Only condition by the government of Saudi Arabia was for that these houses must go to victims affected by the tsunami. They didn't say this had to go to any particular community.
Yes.
And some people went to the Supreme Court, and again another order. To this day, not even dogs live in that 500 home complex. It's not only homes. There's a village hall, there's a hospital, there's a community hall, all that. A whole turnkey project, completely gone in the window.
Abandoned, actually.
Abandoned.
Yes.
Abandoned, all because of these dodgy and lopsided judgments, ill thought out, half-baked. Well, what can we do about that? What can the people do, Shamindra?
I don't think for us people can do anything, you know, because you see, you know, this recent controversy over the appointment of a High Court judge, right? This what we call this Kannan affair,
Yeah.
right? So it's an indication that the Bar Association, I mean the previous administration of the Bar Association, the government, the political parties, all these people get together and do certain things, you know. Now, earlier you were talking about the former Chief Justice Sarath and Silva.
Yeah.
Now, the same person today, he backs a JO today.
Yes, but
right?
he now apologizing is, you know, he's very, with all due respect, this kind of behavior can be best described as flippant. Because, you know, you do something and then you come back and say, oh, well, I'm terribly sorry, I made a mistake. But what you did has got, by saying sorry, that doesn't stop. But
I'm happy he did that, because thanks to his decision, President Rajapaksa was able to defeat the LTT. So
no, that's a little bit, that's a bit wide angle. I'm not going to accept that. The point is this: we are not taking anything away from President Rajapaksa, but we can't. We are not. We're not in the business of astrology.
But for us, we must not forget the fact: if he was denied the opportunity to lead this country, we would have lost this war.
We don't know that for sure, because we don't know. We are speculating on who the next president would have been.
The former president should take responsibility for waste, corruption and irregularities during his time. He did not take action against people who carried out all sort of things. He is responsible for that, but we must not deny him the credit.
No, nobody will ever do that.
So thanks to Mr. Saratnanda Silva.
I won't have to thank him. I will openly thank the former president for bringing back some peace to this country. Now then, there's an interesting message from one of our viewers, and you need to pay heed to this because we'd like you to comment at the end of this thing. Again, one of Justice Sarat Silva's achievements within quotes. In 2009, a bench headed under him gave a ruling that if anybody agitates, protests, interferes in matters pertaining to garbage, that they can be remanded for a minimum of 14 days. The appellant was none other than Dinesh Gunawardena in his capacity then as the Minister of Urban Development, when the residents of Mi Thotamulla protested against this garbage dump. Since then to now, 8 years have passed, and no government has, will, or ever attempt to resolve this ongoing human catastrophe. What do you say?
That's exactly my point. Exactly my point. I said don't blame this government. Both governments. And the protest started in...
Now, okay, blame whoever. What about the people there? How are we going to help them to come out of this misery? How can they look to the future? Their breadwinner may have been
for us,
and they're being paid 100,000 rupees compensation.
So they don't have a future. I am telling you, they don't have a future. Because, see, that's the truth. That's the truth
this,
for us.
The unfortunate side, the flip side of this is that...
For us, you just told me, 500 housing units built by the government of Saudi Arabia for tsunami victims. They're still there, no?
Correct.
Now, take the parliament. Did you ever hear members of parliament taking up this issue, this garbage issue in parliament? No.
But that's the point. I was just trying to say, this electorate has been represented at various times by what we can call political heavyweights who enjoyed the ear of whoever the president was at the time. Right? Now, we had people like Bharat Lakshman from there. We had Devinder Silva. These are all heavyweight, big sort of names. And with the correct level of patronage, political obviously, right? Now, they had that. And yet the people of that area have been let down badly.
Certainly. I don't have faith in politicians for us, right? You take all the other places, take when that army ammunition dump exploded. What happened? Some of the people had not been paid compensation even today.
Right.
They did not get adequate compensation. You take all the other disasters, tsunami, then Salava, then there was this place called Samasara. Right? Number of tragedies. But they talk about giving 100,000 rupees to poor people, right? Now, in one case, I think a family of 5 all died. So then, who is going to get at least that 500,000 rupees? Nobody will get it. And I'll tell you this, up to 2.5 million rupees compensation. They will make it.
The word is up to.
Up to.
They will make it
so difficult. Yeah. You know, people will just give up. I am telling you, for us.
Why are we so skeptical? Why are we so skeptical?
For us, I tell you, politicians, the UNP, the SLFP, all these politicians, irrespective of all their differences of opinion on constitutional making, Geneva, whatever, they are only interested in their perks and privileges. Just study the vehicle issue. Mr. Nagananda Kodituaku has repeatedly said this on Maharaja TV and on media. You know, it's a game for them. You know, from top to bottom, you just check with Parliament. You know, the perks and privileges given to these people. And
what would they,
and top of it, they had to involve a US NGO to teach Sri Lankan politicians, our political parties, about good governance, right? Nearly 70 years after independence.
Yes, and it certainly looks like the people who draft these rules and regulations and acts and bills and whatever, what have you, they appear to miss various local points, leading me to think that these draft bills and so on are coming out of the offices and machines of the consultants employed by various ministries.
The OMP bill was one such bill, and we checked with certain people, and we realized whole chunks, it came from outside sources.
Yeah.
So, like that, for our politicians, for them it's a game. I am telling you, nobody will try to rectify their shortcomings and mistakes. They'll continue this system because at the end of the day, all the benefits go to their families, their friends and henchmen, their associates. It's for them. So they will not change the system. They will never change the system.
I want to acknowledge various messages from our public, and thank you very much for those good wishes. But there's one here that says, through TV1, please tell members of Parliament to donate 1 month's allowance. Wouldn't that be a good idea?
Certainly.
How many do you think will write a check out for 100,000? Because that's how much an allowance they're getting.
Yes, so some may, but definitely I don't think all members of Parliament will do that.
Would you undertake to publish on the front page of your newspaper a list of all members of Parliament who have been contacted and who are willing or unwilling to donate their 100,000 rupees to the people of Mitotamulla?
We can work on a story, definitely. We can work on a story, definitely.
I'm not trying to influence your story, you understand. I'm only asking you if
Certainly.
it's a possibility.
You influence me all the time, but okay, we'll try to.
Well, it's just that the host of Pathikada, Mr. Bandarajasekaran, he's just texted me and saying that you and I are, in his view, doing a good job. But I'm not really interested in so much as that. What I want to know is, what are the options available to the people of this area? What can we do, and what can we go and tell them to do that will hopefully get them some relief?
I really don't know for us. I don't think our politicians, our governments, our administrations will be moved by the tears of people.
I think they all suffer from, I keep saying this, they suffer from collective Asperger's syndrome.
For us, that they were to meet this month, the Parliament.
Schizophrenic,
They just postponed Parliament to 2nd of May, right? So now, I think the Parliament, the major political parties, all of them, the civil society, they should get together and do something.
Isn't this incident at Mitotamulla, although it's about garbage, isn't it a powerful enough tragic event for this government to order it as some form of a disaster and get all the troops in, marshal all the forces in, and so on, and display real commitment to getting rid of this dump from there? At least then there will be a feeling amongst the people of that area that finally, at least these people died, tragic as it is, at least they didn't die in vain. That they died, and their death was the catalyst for the removal of this dump from Mitotamulla.
Yeah, I mean, if that happens, that's great, but don't think you can shift garbage from Mitotamulla to Ekala or some other place, right? And more importantly, the people of Mitotamulla went to the Human Rights Commission of Sri Lanka and complained. Now, the Human Rights Commission of Sri Lanka is primarily interested in the rights of ex-LTT cadres, people who had been arrested under the PTA.
Yeah.
I think they should also look into these issues. The issues of ordinary people. There is no need for the people to go and lodge a complaint with the Human Rights Commission. The Human Rights Commission should visit. Now, just count the number of politicians who visited this place for us during this period.
I don't think that it was safe for them to do that. They all got beaten up.
I think about 4 or 5 people went. There was only one cabinet minister, I think, Minister Sagar Ratnayaka.
Yeah.
And there were few other politicians. People shouted at them. There was an exchange of words between the IGP and the people. The IGP visited the scene. At one point, the television showed the IGP calling a person and requesting him to make available a caterpillar or something. So that person said, tomorrow, right? So that person didn't care. What the people said was, although the army, that this incident happened at 1:30 p.m. on Friday, the army moved in by 5 p.m., but until 2 a.m. on Saturday,
they weren't able to mobilize.
No vehicles were made available. The required vehicles had not been made available, right? So that's the situation. And here it's in
It looks like the level of preparedness at the disaster management
so there's a separate ministry, that now if you organize...
But that ministry is probably only a tool to keep one more politician happy. On that note, we've run out of time. We've overrun again. Shamin Ferdinando, thank you very much for being on Newsline. We appreciate your presence and we appreciate what you're doing to highlight these issues that are at the heart of people's minds. On that note, we'll say thank you and goodbye, and we look forward to seeing you again tomorrow morning, same time, same place, helping you stay connected. Take care. God bless.